Guys, look how bad they're lying about Mercury. Okay, you know Mercury, the planet, the so-called planet, which really means wandering star. It is the closest planet to the sun, and yet they want you to believe that it looks like this dusty old rock here. Look at this. I've got exclusive footage on Mercury that I caught during the planetary alignment, okay? Mercury is the hardest planet there is to capture, and I'll tell you why. It's only visible for about 30 minutes, first thing in the morning before sunrise, okay? It appears above, a little ways above the horizon, and it's only visible for about a 30-minute window before the sun comes up and the sun's light drowns out Mercury's light. That's the only time you can capture Mercury. That's only certain times of the year. You see, Mercury goes from appearing in front of the sun just before sunrise to going behind the sun, and then the sun comes up before Mercury does and you can't see it at all. So here is what Mercury really looks like.
Can you see the sun?
Yeah. Looks good, actually.
Yeah. And so it's a nice. Does it look spherical?
Yes, it does.
It does. So notice the size of the sun, right? And you can see. So this is it's just a light above the dome. So some people theorize that the wandering stars, like there could be an outer ring of planets, and if that was true, and Mars was the sun, we move Mars out here, and it gets smaller. Now look at the light in the dome.
Whoa, you can see
That's
it.
a wandering star.
Well, how can you still see that in the dome?
Because it's farther away and it's smaller, right? That's the sun of the outer dome, of the outer lands, but we see it as a wandering star inside of our dome compared to our sun, which is just above the dome and it's being projected into our reality.
Look at the magician, David Wise, the flat Earth.
Get a close shot of that.
I mean, it looks good going through.
As you can totally see.
Yeah. And would you, looking at that, if you couldn't see anything else, would you think that is a spherical light?
Yeah, it looks just like a little bowl.
Yeah, it's not. It's a freaking flat iPhone light.
I know. And I'm just saying it's weird because that's what the sun looks like in the sky.
Yeah. Now add some clouds and atmosphere in there, and like over here, it would be daytime in Australia and nighttime in America because that light wouldn't make it over there.
Step 3. Measure the distance to the globe's edge. Let's pretend that you have no idea what size the alleged ball Earth is. Could you use simple modern equipment like a telescope or high zoom camera to determine the size of the Earth and simultaneously prove the Earth is a ball? With a little bit of math and a telescope, you can theoretically go out and determine the minimum size of the globe's radius. We simply use the Pythagorean theorem to solve for the minimum distance to the edge of the alleged globe, or what is commonly referred to as the horizon. In our case, we're going to solve for r, or the alleged radius of the ball Earth, using this equation here. Here's a good clear video from Finland, where the cruise ship was 16.8 miles away from the observer with an observation height of 2 feet. The horizon is beyond the ship. We can say that for a fact because there's another boat right there, much more distant, that's even higher prospectively. You can clearly see the more distant boat. Although we know the horizon is much further than 16.8 miles, we'll use 17 miles as our minimum distance to the geometric horizon. If we lived on a ball with a geometric edge further than 17 miles at a viewing height of 2 feet, then the globe radius would have to be bigger than 381,000 miles. Do you believe you live on a ball with a radius bigger than 381,000 miles when the Earth is supposed to have a radius of only 3,959 miles? The globe fails the reality test. In this video from Pablo's dog, who is an engineer, with an observation height of 45 feet, the globe horizon would have to be closer than 8.2 miles, but the observable horizon is well beyond the platform that is 14.6 miles away. The globe fails the reality test. Here's the test from Dr. John D., who has a PhD. At a viewing height of 3.5 feet, the horizon would have to be closer than 2.3 miles, but the evidence shows a visible horizon well beyond 11.2 miles. The globe fails the reality test again. Here's one from California by BMLSB69. Canada by Heath Carmody. Florida by Wide Awake. Washington by Observable Reality. I can give you dozens of these proofs showing that there is no globe geometric horizon as required by the globe. The horizon is a matter of perspective, viewing conditions, and the size of any obstructions. Now it's your turn. When viewing conditions are clear, and the water is very calm, and there is no inferior mirage, go out on a beach and film distant objects that you can find on a map and see if the distance to the observable horizon matches the globe physical model.
Now, I'm not saying the world is flat, and I'm not saying the world is round. But can somebody please tell me, how is it possible that the Earth is just flying through the sky? And it's not that we're just flying through the sky. We're spinning at 1,000 miles per hour. Come on, brother. How would you even know that? What tool would you use to measure how fast we're spinning? The way speed is measured is you must know the distance something travelled and how long it took to get there. We're still travelling and we ain't reached our destination yet. And this is another thing I don't understand. On a roundabout, kids are smiling. On a fun fair ride, man feel the G-force. But the Earth spinning over 1,000 miles per hour, man are eating dinner, bruv. And it's not just the Earth spinning, it's everything. So let me see if I got this straight. You're trying to tell me that the Earth, the Moon, the Sun, the planets are spinning round each other while spinning individually, whilst flying through the sky forever. Just forever, no end. Just keep on going. Nah, that don't make no sense. But when I look at the flat Earth model, it makes more sense. We're not flying, we're floating in water.
Your first comment where you just wrote, laughing my ass off, I tried to explain to you that it's only the fools who don't ask questions. And I told you a mind that knows it all has no room to learn. This one is actually a valid question, and it's a pretty good example of what I'm talking about. This is the Gleason's flat Earth map. The reason why it would make no sense for a plane to fly west to get to Australia is because you're thinking in terms of a globe. Let's get in a little closer where we could see something. So here's the United States, and this is the North Pole. From the United States, you're going to fly west to Australia. To be quite honest with you, the reason I talk about flat Earth on here is because it's just step one. The debate between heliocentric and the flat Earth model, that's just putting your foot in the door. There are realms, there are dimensions, and there is an inner Earth. But if you can't even accept the idea that maybe there is another explanation other than what you've been told, you're just going to keep on laughing and you're going to keep on dismissing everything. That's how all of this was designed, and that's why they have an answer for everything. There's some really amazing stuff about our Earth that we were never taught. If you don't open your mind and go looking for it, you're never going to know it. As I said before, a mind that knows it all has no room to learn. Hopefully this all made a little bit of sense to you, and if nothing else, I can at least get you to stop laughing at people who do look into it. You have an awesome day. Stay blessed.
Wait, 60 seconds of your time. Seriously, that's all I'm gonna need here. You know how they told us in school Pythagoras, Copernicus, all these guys figured out that the earth was a ball through sticks and shadows and other things, and that everyone thought that the earth was a ball? April 21st, 1900 says the earth is round. It is painful to read that Sir John Gorse, the head of the British Educational Department, is in serious trouble and has been threatened by Mr. Ebenezer Breach and other taxpayers of the city of Portsmouth in the Kingdom of England with prosecution under the Impostors Act. It seems that the schools of Portsmouth have been teaching the damnable and heretical doctrine that the earth is a sphere. What? These guys were flat earthers? Ebenezer and his friends know, of course, that the earth is as flat as a pancake. If you really sit down and think about it, think about the quadrillions of gallons of water in the ocean. Water doesn't act like that. Uh-oh. If you want more truth, check my bio.
When it comes to flat Earth, it's become abundantly clear that only the people who research are the ones who figure out the lie of globe Earth. But the only people who research are the ones who actually want to know the truth. People who don't really want to know the truth don't want to research because they're afraid of what they'll find. So they just use petty, weak arguments based on lies. And it's obvious.
According to NASA, on December 20th, 2021, Soyuz MS-20, carrying Roscosmos cosmonaut Alexander Misurkin and Japanese spaceflight participants Yusaku Maezawa and Yozo Hirano, touched down on the Kazakh steppe at 3:13 UTC. The landing site was located 148 kilometers southeast of the city of Zhezkazgan, located in central Kazakhstan. This is the full and unaltered official Roscosmos livestream of said landing. It's no longer available on their YouTube page and very difficult to still find. Pay close attention to the clock in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Remember, they tell us this was a live stream of 3 men returning to Earth after a 12-day mission on the International Space Station. You are about to see proof positive that this was not live footage at all. It is very clearly a poorly edited theatrical production beyond any reasonable doubt. In conclusion, space is fake and gay. Wake up. The Earth is flat. This is a fact, and it literally doesn't matter at all how much it hurts your feelings or fragile little ego.
Not everybody can be a robot polisher.
Now, I'm not saying the moon landing was fake, and I'm not saying it's real. But I've got a few questions I need you guys to answer. If they're really on the moon, then why is it so dark? Where are all the stars? And where's all the planets? And look how bright the moon shines. You can see it from 1,000,000 miles away. But when these men are standing on the moon, it's looking all grey and dusty. And what about this famous footprint that they keep showing us? It don't match the space boots that they've got on display. One is a pair of Timbs and the other was wearing a pair of Yeezys. And if you're trying to tell me that they travelled from Earth to the moon in this tin pan, drum pan, makeshift out of cardboard box, aluminum foil spacecraft, then you must have lost your goddamn mind. And where's this mystery wind coming from? I thought there was only 1% gravity on the moon. Where's this breeze coming from? Why is the flag blowing in the wind? Come on, brother.
This man thinks that flat earthers are living in a fantasy because he thinks it's a globe, and he says he has facts and evidence behind him. Sure, let me know when flurfs graduate from cartoon pictures, even though cartoon pictures are the only thing that globe believers have ever seen that makes them think we live on a spinning ball. Make your own judgment.
Now guys, listen to me. If the earth was round, and right here it says that gravity pulls all objects downward toward the center of the planet. If that were true, and gravity is pulling everything to the center of the planet, that gravitational force is being applied equally all the way around our globe. Okay? So, why aren't we being crushed by this gravity that's strong enough to hold oceans of water to it? It's like this. If this pen weighed 5 pounds, and I wanted to hold it to the bottom of the table, how much force would I have to apply upward to keep that weight to the table? At least 5 pounds, or greater. If it wasn't 5 pounds, the weight would start to fall. Right, I would have to apply at least 5 pounds or greater. So when you look at the oceans, sitting at the bottom of a freaking ball that's spinning and flying through space, that is a lot of gravitational force being applied to keep that water there. So how are we not being crushed by that force? It doesn't make any freaking sense. The earth is fucking flat.
Thank you for your comment. This isn't a clapback. I actually really like your content. I followed you for a long time. This question was stuck in my head, so I had to go back and find the comment. You know, they say that human beings are the smartest species. But if you look around us and you look in nature, you might ask yourself, why are we the only species that allows a small percentage of us to control the masses? Why are we the only ones who don't live by the laws of nature? One of the things that I think would make us the smartest species is our ability to communicate. Sometimes just hearing something out loud changes everything. We all know what gravity is. They teach us this when we're kids. Then it becomes something we don't really need to think about. I'm 43 years old, and it was just a couple years ago that I heard somebody say, gravity's not proven, it's just a theory. That kind of tripped me up a little bit. We all know Newton, the apple fell from the tree. Then you hear somebody say something like, well, if that apple landed in water and started to float, what happened to the gravity? I don't know. Then you hear about the moon affecting the tides. That gravitational force is so strong that it pulls the water from the oceans. Why then doesn't it affect smaller bodies of water like a lake or a pool? Why wouldn't it just draw your coffee right out of your cup? I don't know. Anyhow, this kind of stuff is what made me start digging. I'm going to play a little clip for you.
Gravity is necessary in order for a spinning ball Earth to work. People readily believe that you can't fall off of a spinning ball that's darting through outer space at speeds that you can't even comprehend, yet they will deny how much easier it is to stay on a flat surface that doesn't move. Gravity is a scapegoat for all that cannot be explained, and it has never been proven. The law of gravitation is said by the advocates of the Newtonian system of astronomy to be the greatest discovery of science and the foundation of the whole of modern astronomy. If, therefore, it can be shown that gravitation is a pure assumption and an imagination of the mind only, that it has no existence outside of the brains of its expounders and advocates, the whole of the hypotheses of this modern so-called science fall to the ground as flat as the surface of the ocean, And this most exact of all sciences, this wonderful feat of the intellect, becomes at once the most ridiculous superstition and the most gigantic imposture to which ignorance and credulity could ever be exposed. Thomas Winship, Zetetic Cosmogony.
Ego at the door, okay? You do not know everything. A lot of you think you do, but you don't. I certainly don't. Through your school system, through your education that you're so proud of, that builds your whole ego, your whole value in life, it's impossible for you to discard it and admit you were deceived. Let me tell you something. You've been deceived. It's not your fault. You can let go of your ego. Nobody's going to laugh at you except other people that can't let go of their ego. But people that have caught on to the con and realized the power grab that's taken place, they're not going to laugh at you. They're going to welcome you. I'm telling you again, the worst thing they fear is the hive mind. The one thing they fear is 300 million people in the United States coming together on one topic and saying, this makes no sense. We need answers. Why is the flat earth so important? Because it shows the deception. There are enough reasonable questions to create reasonable suspicion that we've been lied to. They can't afford to keep being asked. Whether the earth actually turned out to be diamond-shaped, cross-shaped, pear-shaped, there's enough to see that it's not what we've been told. And once that is revealed, everything these governments have done becomes illegitimate. That is why it matters. And that is why they will do anything they can to keep us fighting, keep us distracted, keep us at odds against each other, just like the entire world. Whether it be Christians against Muslims, blacks against whites, government that truly has your best interest, your freedom at heart? Or does it sound like a government that wants to keep you constantly busy on paying attention to anything but what they're doing? And this truth movement is no different. Because as soon as the topic starts going where everybody could actually make a stand and say, hey, wait a minute, this needs to be answered. This is a big one. And I don't care what anybody says, the flat earth, the shape of the earth, is the biggest conspiracy and has been used to manipulate, deceive, and control us all. If, God forbid, everybody came and started demanding answers, and once they can't provide those answers, people realize they are busted. It can't be a mistake. It can't be anything but the deception and control mechanism it is. Flat Earth is not a psyop. Flat Earth destroys the psyop. Every psyop that's been used to control us for as long as they've known about it. So this system has been in power and control for hundreds of years, ever since they convinced the rest of the world that they didn't know where they live, and created this fantastical scenario to make people feel insignificant and to follow those that appear to know better, that are just better liars, deceivers, that have no conscience, and will do everything and anything to everybody and anybody they can to keep that power. Because people are waking up. And no matter how much they try to suppress this flat earth movement, oh, it's going to keep moving one way or another. You can see it. People are waking up. So now, louder than ever, I can hear that clock. Tick-tock, 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 tick-tock. It's a religion. It's all a religion. You know why? Because government is a religion. Government is the majority of the world's true God, because they believe that these people have some sort of power, and they've even convinced us that we've given it to them. They still have us convinced in 2015, the age of instant communication, that we for some reason need representatives in a city that's not even part of this country called Washington, D.C. to represent us. That in this age of instant communication, we can't represent ourselves for some reason. That's how deep the brainwashing and the indoctrination has gone. They still have you convinced that this government should be run on the same system it was run when people were back on horseback using telegraphs and Pony Express. That's why they had these representatives, had to go to Washington, so that they could go back home to this group of a few 100,000 people and say, well, what do you guys want? Okay, I'll go tell them. And they travel for a week to Washington, D.C. or however long it takes. That's why you needed representatives. Now I can push this button and talk to anybody in the world. What the fuck do I need a representative for? Because it's the power system, the control system. They have to keep indoctrinating you in schools, teaching you about everything and anything but where you live. Now they have to treat out all the money that was going into the educational system to control your mind isn't working anymore. People see how stupid everybody is. That is the failure of government. See, Flat Earth proves the failure of government, period. Because it's either deceived and lied and indoctrinated us all into a false system, or it's completely failed in making people realize if they really live on a globe, a lot of people don't see it. So your education system has failed now, hasn't it? In order to believe it, we've got to believe a bunch of math formulas that only a few people in the world can supposedly understand, and we've just got to take your word for it. Here in this age of all this technology where I can get on this phone, record this video, and send it out to the world, they can't seem to find a way to easily, simply prove to everybody on the planet where they live. It always depends on some formulas that the majority of the people don't understand. And again, the people that do understand it don't understand it. They either that know it's bullshit or they believe it's bullshit because it's just religion and it's not proven. It's just twisted formulas to fit their agenda. It doesn't wash out in reality. What difference does it make? What difference does it make? Yeah, that's their favorite line. Got a lot of people, what difference does it make? You can't figure out what difference it makes? If you can't figure out what difference it makes that the people running your world have fucking lied to you over and over your whole life, if you can't figure out that someone lying to you is trying to control you, suppressing of information, of knowledge, is control. Deception of information and knowledge is a form of control. So what difference does it make? It makes a big difference, because once they start omitting information or lying about information about where you live, they're doing it to control you. Period. Why am I having to explain this to critical thinkers in the truth movement? Where you live, it's been a lie the whole time. And if everybody would just come together and demand answers, they would be in checkmate. They would not know what the fuck to do. They cannot prove it. They can't prove the globe because it doesn't exist. So once you call on them, they're done. You then remove them from power and go from there. That rips down all the other conspiracies. You then have access to all these top secret government files, that national security that they hide all the evidence under. The way you control billions of people is to keep them divided and fighting each other. So they focus on anything and everything but you and how you're controlling them all.
"50 years since the greatest technological achievement in human history."
The Eagle has landed.
The Eagle has landed at 4:17 in the afternoon Eastern Time. A spacecraft carrying astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin touched down on the moon. Nearly 7 hours later, and with an estimated 500 million people watching on TV, Armstrong descended from the lunar module to take mankind's first steps on the moon's surface.
On Friday, the eve of Apollo's golden anniversary, Aldrin and Collins reunited in the Oval Office. But the photo op turned into an impromptu debate over where NASA should go next, with President Trump seemingly siding against NASA's plan to travel to the moon first before traveling to Mars.
So how long a trip to Mars? How long would it take?
It's about a 7-month journey there.
How do you feel about it?
Mars direct.
You like it direct?
Yes.
It seems to me Mars direct. I mean, who knows better than these people?
Me, Globebusters. Watch this simulation here that was aired on CBS News in 1969 about the Apollo 11 moon landing. This is a simulation that shows how they allegedly landed on the moon in 1969.
100 feet, 3.5 down, 9 forward. 5%. How many feet? Okay, 75 feet. Guys looking good, down a half. 6 forward.
What?
Okay, we're going to be busy for a minute. Master Armand, take care of the people. I'll get this stuff prepared.
Wally, say something. I'm speechless.
I'm just trying to hold on to my breath. That is really something.
Very smooth touchdown.
Kind of nice to be aboard on this one, isn't it?
You know, we've been wondering.
I'll tell you what I've been wondering. I've been wondering, how does this lunar lander module, spaceship, that looks like a contraption that some kids made during a sleepover, if the engine is at the bottom and it's thrusting downward, how did it not leave a big giant hole in the moon as it was landing? And these here are real images that were allegedly taken on the moon. There should be dirt, dust, hot rocks smoldering on fire still, smoke everywhere. It should look like they landed in a damn barbecue grill, okay? But there's no dirt on the feet of this contraption. You know why? Because people picked it up and set it right in front of that camera on that Hollywood set because they never went to the moon because space ain't real.
The Earth is spinning at 1,040 miles an hour. You can't feel it. You can't measure it. You can't observe it. You can't repeat it. But trust us.
The first big project, successful project of modern science was that, mapping the world. And it was obvious to everybody that it's not being done out of sheer curiosity. It's being done in order to control and to conquer.
I'd like to be an explorer, like the great Magellan.
Oh, you're too late. There's really nothing left to explore.
Mapping the world was the first step to conquering it.
Not everybody can be a robot polisher.
If 1 billion people found out tomorrow that they can all go to outer land space and visit other tribes and civilizations and explore technology and animals, the whole system would crumble. If there's more resources, natural resources, if there's more food for our starving children, if there's more space, more room for us to get away from the child sex trafficking, if there's places where we can go and other civilizations we can be a part of, where they don't charge you for water, they don't charge you for free energy, they don't charge you for property taxes. All these corrupt systems that are stealing money from us, kidnapping our children, they rely upon the cattle staying on the ranch, the slaves on the plantation.
Truman! Truman! No! That's off limits!
Why? What's happening?
Nothing. It's dangerous, that's all. You've got
gotta know your limitations, Truman.
That's why flat Earth is the most important knowledge we can obtain. You have to have permission to do everything. You have to have permission to marry the love of your life. You have to have permission to travel down the road when we have the inalienable right to travel from point A to point B. You people think you're free? You're not free. You're free-range chickens. That's what you are. You're free-range chickens held in an area you're not allowed to go past, and if not, you go to jail or you get shot. Stay on the plantation, do what you're supposed to do, pay your taxes, and shut up.
It's not just about hiding a place for more resources and where else we can go and dig for gas and gold. It's not about that. They're hiding freedom. They know that as soon as we all find out that there's another place to go without dictatorship, that we'd be gone.
Gold can't go to $1 an ounce. Gasoline can't go to 20 cents a gallon. We can all have, thousands of acres of land to ourselves. The whole system crumbles. The entire system crumbles. Period. You've been conditioned your entire life. It's okay to lie. It's okay to be lied to. So when the lie comes out, people are just like, okay, whatever. Got to turn on my Fox News. Got to go to the bar. Got to go watch my football. Give them bread and circuses, and they will never revolt.
Stop defending Rockefeller, Rothschilds, all these goons, these people that want the New World Order, the modern day people, Bill Gates, Schwab, all these people that they're pushing for it, and they feel like it's almost there, and we're sitting here fighting it. We're sitting here trying to wake the world up so we can have a peaceful and loving world again. And you're attacking us. Whose side are you on? We're trying to take these evil entities down that suppress our knowledge. We're trying to give knowledge back to the world so we can become powerful again.
If we don't do something now, all of this is going away, and they're taking over this world. So speak out. This takes one celebrity, one person with a big following, and then it goes viral, and then the entire system collapses. All of this world control is based on the heliocentric lie.
Not everybody can be a robot polisher.
This world has been toying with us. It's a test, I swear it is. We've just got to pop the whole thing off and go. No matter what's out there.
Why do you think that Truman has never come close to discovering the true nature of his world until now?
We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that.
It's the most important thing. It opens the door for everything else. You want to know the truth? You have to know where you live.
Mapping the world was the first step to conquering it.
The Earth is spinning at 1,040 miles an hour. You can't feel it. You can't measure it. You can't observe it. You can't repeat it. But trust us.
The first big project, successful project of modern science was that, mapping the world. And it was obvious to everybody that it's not being done out of sheer curiosity. It's being done in order to control and to conquer.
I like to be an explorer, like the great Magellan.
Oh, well, you're too late. There's really nothing left to explore.
Mapping the world was the first step to conquering it.
Not everybody can be a robot polisher.
If 1 billion people found out tomorrow that they can all go to outer land space and visit other tribes and civilizations and explore technology and animals, the whole system would crumble. If there's more resources, natural resources, if there's more food for our starving children, if there's more space, more room for us to get away from the child sex trafficking, if there's places where we can go and other civilizations we can be a part of, where they don't charge you for water, they don't charge you for free energy, they don't charge you for property taxes. All these corrupt systems that are stealing money from us, kidnapping our children, they rely upon the cattle staying on the ranch. the slaves on the plantation.
Truman! Truman! No! That's off limits!
Why? What's over there?
Nothing. It's dangerous, that's all. You've got to know your limitations, Truman.
That's why flat Earth is the most important knowledge we can obtain. You have to have permission to do everything. You have to have permission to marry the love of your life. You have to have permission to travel down the road when we have the inalienable right to travel from point A to point B. You people think you're free? You're not free. You're free-range chickens. That's what you are. You're free-range chickens held in an area you're not allowed to go past, and if not, you go to jail or you get shot. Stay on the plantation, do what you're supposed to do, pay your taxes, and shut up.
It's not just about hiding a place for more resources and where else we can go and dig for gas and gold. It's not about that. They're hiding freedom. They know that as soon as we all find out that there's another place to go without dictatorship, that we'd be gone.
Gold can't go to $1 an ounce. Gasoline can't go to 20 cents a gallon. We can all have, thousands of acres of land to ourselves. The whole system crumbles. The entire system crumbles. Period. You've been conditioned your entire life. It's okay to lie. It's okay to be lied to. So when the lie comes out, people are just like, okay, whatever. Got to turn on my Fox News. Got to go to the bar. Got to go watch my football. Give them bread and circuses, and they will never revolt.
Stop defending Rockefeller, Rothschilds, all these goons, these people that want the New World Order, the modern day people, Bill Gates, Schwab, all these people that they're pushing for it, and they feel like it's almost there, and we're sitting here fighting it. We're sitting here trying to wake the world up so we can have a peaceful and loving world again. And you're attacking us. Whose side are you on? We're trying to take these evil entities down that suppress our knowledge. We're trying to give knowledge back to the world so we can become powerful again.
If we don't do something now, all of this is going away, and they're taking over this world. So speak out. This takes one celebrity, one person with a big following, and then it goes viral, and then the entire system collapses. All of this world control is based on the heliocentric lie.
Not everybody can be a robot polisher.
This world has been toying with us. It's a test, I swear it is. We just gotta pop the whole thing off and go. No matter what's out there.
Why do you think that Truman has never come close to discovering the true nature of his world until now?
We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that.
It's the most important thing. It opens the door for everything else. You want to know the truth? You have to know where you live.
Mapping the world was the first step to conquering it.
Look at the little penguins. Now, the only time we get to see them is if we go to a zoo or a refuge or a theme park, because they hail from here. You know, the no-no place. Now, they can only be found in the southern hemisphere, which makes sense because that's where the no-no place is. But did you know they can be found in South America, South Africa, the Galapagos Islands, Australia? Now, scientists say that they are found in these places because of either they were pulled onto fishing boats, taken for scientific reasons, or they swam because they can't fly. But the thing is, scientists also say that these little guys will only travel approximately 600 miles away from their nest, which then entails going back. So this one could make sense to me. The Drake Passage is about 500 miles from Cape Horn to the Shetland Island. That's plausible. But when we go to where the penguins are normally seen in Africa, these two distances are like triple, quadruple up to South Africa, Australia. Now, trying to find any actual distances between the no-no place and a place in a country is nearly impossible. You have to use a map. Now, on this map, it shows that Australia's territories in the no-no place are all on one side. That makes total sense. But when you look at the coordinates on these maps and compare them, something is just not adding up. What else doesn't add up is that these little animals that hail from the no-no place, where it's apparently cold as shit, find their way to these other countries, but not to the United States, Canada, Europe. Why are they only found here, here, there, and here? Look at this. Notice the wall. Now take into account how far they can swim. Yep, that still makes sense. Now that makes sense. And now that makes sense. The 3 closest continents to the wall. They can't get anywhere else because they can't swim that far. I'm beginning to think that this isn't about endangered species and protecting nature. Just saying.
Alright, so this is David Weiss. They call him Flat Earth Dave. He is in his kitchen, and his YouTube channel is DITRH. Now what he's doing is he's got these cameras set up in his kitchen. He has that line running the length of his kitchen, and the line is level. So the line is level. Now he has, you can see on his cabinets, he has a bunch of, just random things, which could be trees, buildings, mountains, whatever you would see on Earth. So this is like a mini mock-up of Earth. It's not to scale, but it's just to give you an idea, showing you of what the sun does. It doesn't, if it was to be to scale, the line would have to be a lot higher. But either way, you're going to get the same effect. So he has a camera set down on the other end that's level with the countertop filming, and he has this camera that we're watching. So right now he is keeping the sun, he is going level across the so-called Earth with the sun. And basically when we see the sun set, the sun does not go down. The sun stays the same height in the air. It does a big circle around the world. It does not, we are not falling backwards at 1,000 miles per hour, and that's why the sun goes down. So it's perspective. The sun goes far away from us, and the sun brings its light with it. So that's why, just like if you had a flashlight and you shine it on the wall, the further you walk away from that wall, eventually it's going to get dark again, because the flashlight brought its light with it. It went away too far. Now, if you were standing on Earth looking up at the sun, this is that camera. Now it looks like the line is going down, but we know it's going level. But this is all perspective. So it looks like the line is going down, and now he's going to run the sun across it, and this is what we see. Here we go. Now it looks like the sun is going down. The sun is staying the same height in the air, and it's taking its light with it. Eventually we won't see no more light because the atmosphere gets thick. Like in a clear swimming pool, if you're on one side of the swimming pool and you look to the other, you can't see the other side, even though the swimming pool is clear. The atmosphere is the same way. It has moisture in it, and it starts to thicken. So you can only see so far through the atmosphere. And some people will say, well, when the sun sets, it gets really big. Well, water magnifies things. So you have humidity in the air. If you notice, the sun is never big when it's up in the air. It's only when it goes through the thick atmosphere, when it's setting, you'll see it get big from all the water in the air. It magnifies. Water magnifies things. Stick a straw in water, and the top of the straw will be skinny, and the straw that's in the water will be thicker. But as you can see, the sun is not going down. The sun is staying at the same height.
You believe the Southern Cross proves that the Earth is a globe, do ya? Alright, let's do that. So the globe earthers have made a claim that the observations of the Southern Cross is only possible if the Earth is a ball. They say that there's no other possible explanation for what we are seeing. They say that while they completely ignore the fact that the curve of the Earth has never been measured. Let's use the stars to prove the shape of the Earth, shall we? Let's dig in. So, like any of the globe earthers' experiments, this is going to be really easy to debunk. All I'm going to need is a cup of water and a reference point on my wall. This is a very simple experiment that every one of you could do for free. You don't need NASA, you don't need some special orientation on the Earth. All you need is a little bit of common sense. Let's use this picture for reference, shall we? All I am going to do to prove that this is an optical illusion is add a little bit of water. As you can tell while I'm looking in this direction, I can still, in fact, see the mushroom. And without changing the orientation of the mushroom, I could change the orientation of my viewpoint, and what do you know? The mushroom moves with my observation. And this works just as well going back the other direction. Isn't it funny how easy that is? Because it is a flat earth claim that there is water above, you have to add water to your observation. When you do that, what you will see is that you actually can look in two different directions and see the same thing. This is because water bends light. Let's see that again, shall we? And I change my observation to match the globe earthers' claim and change my angle to face south-southwest. What you can tell is the picture is out of frame, but you can still see it through the water. You can very easily do this experiment yourself. Since we are talking about the stars after all, let's end this video with a clip of what stars really look like, shall we? You can decide for yourself whether or not you believe if you are looking trillions of miles into space, or if these stars do in fact look like they are underwater. What you see here is an actual video recorded of the stars. As you can tell, the star does look like it's reflecting light underwater. If this star does, in fact, look like it is underwater, well then that validates my point now, doesn't it? This is south-southwest in Africa. You got south over here in Australia. All you need to do is think about it. Wakey, wakey. I love you.
Het is hetzelfde talent als bij de Russen, maar interessante systemen. Hier achter deze panelen wordt de urine opgevangen en
research flat Earth.
You somehow believe gravity could keep the Earth's atmosphere glued to a spinning rock in a vacuum, do ya? Alright, let's do that. All I need to discredit this ridiculous belief is a balloon. As you can tell, the balloon is being acted on by gravity and it's not stretching out. What that means is the gravity of the Earth is not strong enough to stretch out this balloon. The air pressure inside of this balloon is strong enough to stretch out the balloon. So, how could gravity, which is not strong enough to stretch out this balloon, overcome the force that is strong enough to stretch out this balloon? Go ahead and assume that this is the Earth's atmosphere. These gases that make up our atmosphere are expanding in all directions. So how is it that anybody believes gravity, which looks like this when acted on this balloon, is strong enough to overcome a pressure that expands in all directions and we'll stretch out the balloon. Just think about it. An atmosphere on a globe Earth would be like a balloon over a ball in the middle. And you believe that the ball in the middle would be strong enough to stop the outward expanding of the gases that make up the atmosphere? Please, just try to think about what they're expecting you to believe. Gases expand outwards in all directions. If I were to place this balloon in a vacuum without increasing any of the pressure inside of the balloon, the lack of pressure around the balloon, aka the vacuum, it would cause this balloon to expand until it popped. This balloon put into a vacuum would explode in seconds. How do you think that you could have a balloon, aka the Earth, inside of an endless vacuum simply because there's a ball in the middle? You really think gravity can lasso down this outward expanding gas and keep it tied to the Earth? I know you're better than that. You know you're better than that. All you need to do is think about it. Wakey, wakey. I love you.
I think we are confused on the use of the word sphere versus the use of the word circle. So I've provided some visual aids so that you can understand what I am saying. This is in the shape of a circle, okay? It's a circle. So if you're looking at the moon from the sky like this, it looks like a circle. What it doesn't look like is this, okay? So this is not the front of this. This is a sphere, okay? Right here. It's a three-dimensional object. This is what I'm saying isn't in the sky. The sun's not a sphere, the moon's not a sphere, and the planets are not spheres. Now, while you can zoom into a star, it is in the shape of a circle. You're looking at the front of it just like this plate. There's nothing behind it. There's nothing hiding back there. There's not a whole other half of it that you can't see. That's what I'm saying. And yes, you are welcome to look through a telescope, and you can prove that with your eyes, because pull up any photo of any of the planets that NASA has put out, and then get your handy dandy telescope out, and I want you to look at that planet. And I want you to tell me if at any moment you would have derived the image that came from NASA after looking at that star through a telescope. God was very clear in the Bible, very clear. He made the sun, the moon, and the stars. That's it. Why would he make planets and then just not mention them? Now again, you are welcome to believe that spheres are floating around in space, but please understand that when you're on my page and I say things like spheres, I don't mean the shape of a circle. I simply mean a three-dimensional object called a sphere.